and sign up on the mailing list. Put your name and email address there so that Linda can keep track of how many people are, supporting this idea. And what we're going to be asking you to do is pick up stakes and come to Texas if you're not already here. Freedom is not free. This is going to be a major thing. And look how much the founding fathers sacrificed. They dedicated their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And all we're asking you to do is, pick up your fortune and move it to Texas and to participate. This is, liberty is not a spectator sport. So
I got a question for you, Michael.
Okay.
There's a propensity all across this country, especially in small counties, to partake of federal handouts through their infrastructure. So these counties are beholden to the federal government to the tune of big money, real big money. So how do you plan to deal with that?
Well, I haven't gotten into the office yet. I don't know how much money is being sent in by the federal government, but categorically, we're not going to be taking that. We're going to be working our way off of it. It may take us, an election cycle to replace that. But the problem is that all of that federal money comes with strings attached. It makes the county a prostitute to the federal government, where the government is just, literally stringing us along and requiring us to do things. So, one of the things that is going to be a part of my job is to help the county court, the people who, approve the budget, find ways to do things cheaper. And one of the things that I've been thinking of is that we can have volunteer deputy sheriffs. A lot of cities have volunteer fire department because they don't have enough money to pay people full time to just sit there at the fire station. Well, we don't need 25 or 30 people in sheriff's uniforms. We just need a handful of us that will respond or obligated to respond, and then we can have people volunteer to do that. To be on a scanner, to jump in their car and meet us at a location if something's happening. But again, I'm hoping that this whole thing happens very, very peacefully. Most of the activity that we have is going to be within the county. And Quince, I would expect you and I to go to the schools in the area to talk to the kids and explain to them that they really shouldn't do drugs, not because they're illegal, because it influences their thinking, and it leads them on a path where they won't be making a really good job. But with the number of people, even after Linda, you and I, and the number of people on the list who move to this county, there's still going to be an incredibly small number. I'm talking in the neighborhood of 500 people in the county. And I figure if I memorize half of those names and you memorize the other half, we'll know everybody.
I have a feeling, Michael, once we get this going and people see how it's turning out, you're going to have a pretty large population coming on.
Well, that would be an indication of our success with this project. And, we would have, a little indoctrination thing, everybody welcoming people to the county, explaining the way things were in the outside world and the way things are going to be in our county. You're expected to be polite.
I just got another email from a person that's listening to us now. It says there's one of your sponsors, and they want to move out there. It says they know the ways of permaculture, cheap alternative building, ways to raise animals, input to farmers, cheap greenhouses, using recycled materials. They have much knowledge in many arenas concerning self-sufficiency. She's a herbalist, have been studying herbs and developed many of my own formulas. And she's only 40. So that's good. She's ready to move.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is going to happen, and people are going to have to stop, talking in philosophical terms, stop sending out emails. They're going to have to start packing boxes, get a U-Haul, and come to Texas. We're going to make it happen.
Well, that's another thing, too. I have a lot of friends, but some of my friends are truck drivers, and they're not driving their trucks anymore. There's no jobs. A lot of them are parked. I was talking to a couple of them, and I said, well, how about it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to get everything I want to Texas. And he said, I don't know why. All you have to do is buy my gas.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so, we could have these truckers actually moving people, with the semis, getting it all down there at one time where you don't have to leave everything.
Right.
And the truckers would be on the road, and we'd be getting a bargain. Everybody seems like they're willing to help out and get this thing going.
Well, I'm thrilled. Like I said, the people that I've talked to, I always kind of ease into the conversation expecting people to tell me that I'm nuts. I've heard that many, many times, but nobody has told me that about this particular project. So it seems to have a lot of popularity even among the people who are not planning to move there. We've got a commercial break coming up. We're going to be gone for 4 minutes, and when we come back, Quince, I want to ask you a couple questions about your vision for this free county project. Our phone number, 800-259-5791. I appreciate everybody sending Linda emails. Give us a call, 800-259-5791.
We're huddled close. Hang on to a dream.
Hang on to a dream. You are listening to Lighting the Fires of Liberty here on GCNlive.com. We travel far without a home, but we are headed for one. We are going to make a home in one of the counties in Texas, and we are going to make it a home based on the rule of law. The Constitution will be the supreme law of the land in that county. Quince, how do you think things are going to be different? What do you, as you and I, as sheriff and deputy, we introduce ourselves to somebody who's just moved into the county. What are we going to be telling them to expect?
Well, I think, let me preface that question by saying that you and I have seen each other in various states of this country for a few years, meeting different people, and I think we've realized that Americans have lost a basic understanding of what the American dream actually is. They don't remember what it is. A few people do remember, and those are the active patriots that are out there, people involved in the Ron Paul movement. They understand what it really is, and they long for it, and they're willing to sacrifice for it, and they're looking for an opportunity to make it happen on a personal level with them. So I would say to people, hopefully it's going to be what you're saying it's going to be. I'm going to examine it very carefully. But I would start out by saying, this is a chance for you to own your land outright. You're not renting it from the government. You're not getting a certificate of title. You're getting an allodial title. It can't be touched by anyone for any reason. You own it, period. This is a chance for you to participate in your local government on a grassroots, small level, and to know your neighbors.
Yes, absolutely know your neighbors, and I'll be encouraging people to participate in the county government, reminding them that, this is not a democracy. We don't have majority rule on things like other people's property. We're not going to go to the county meeting and vote to take away somebody else's property or to force them to do things a certain way so that we can pursue happiness. The Constitution does not require other people to live their lives so that you're happy. And I think that's going to be, at least at first, I assume that people who are going to be moving there are going to understand that before they arrive. We've got a caller from Texas. I'm going to go to Aaron. Welcome, Aaron. How are you this evening?
Doing quite well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm going to be a sheriff. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and forgive me, I got in at the tail end. I literally walked in 5 minutes into my car, and so I didn't quite catch where about in Texas are you hoping to do this? Or y'all
Well,
hoping to do this?
we're not specifying which county in Texas at this point. We're
Okay.
Strategically keeping that under wraps.
Okay. Well, I mean, if anything, I guess I'll stay posted. It's just, it almost sounds too good to be true, but considering the cost or the amount of what's at stake, I can actually see this coming through. I wanted to chime in on what you were saying about how to tell kids to stop drugs, not just because it'll affect their thinking, but also I think if you were to equate, the usage of illicit drugs to kids in a sense that makes them understand that they would be supportive, and I don't mean outside terrorists, I mean the ones that are on our own soil. If we actually taught kids that when you do illicit drugs, stuff that's bought for you off the streets, those drugs don't fall out of the sky. They somehow magically appear within our borders.